My name is Andrew Calder. I'm a paranormal researcher, also an ordained Episcopal priest / exorcist.
My name is John Zaffis, a paranormal investigator in demonology.
Do you think the responsibility of training this or this awareness goes to the parents of these minors, or do you think the television should maybe put out some disclaimers that this could be dangerous?
Do I think it's the responsibility of a parent to teach the child different things? Absolutely, but as far as paranormal, that's a very difficult thing for a parent if they've never had any exposure to it. So, accompanying them and keeping an eye on circumstances and situations that they get tied into, I think is very important, yes.
Okay. Do you often get calls from an investigator at 3 in the morning who has had something follow him home from an investigation?
Well, I don't know about 3 in the morning. I get 24/7, and I know Andy does too. I mean, investigators get involved with things and they've never experienced anything, and they could have issues going on. It doesn't mean that it's going to be something negative. They could have human spirit follow them also, and they're just trying to understand it and figure it out. So that's a difficult thing, and that's a very hard curve to learn just by having something follow you, just going from a cemetery or going to a location.
Do you think that the average investigator that calls you was aware of that danger before something actually did follow them home?
What do you think, Andy? What is your opinion on some of that?
I would have to say that a lot of the adults today are almost as naive as some of the kids that we deal with, because they don't perceive any dangers in the realm either, or they take it very lightly. It goes in one ear and out the other when you speak it to them.
I have to agree also too, whether it's young children getting involved with it or adults who have never had exposure to it, and a lot of times they just feel jumping right into it is going to be okay and everything's going to be all right. Doesn't mean everybody's having bad experiences, no.
Right.
But we deal with the people that do. And there's a tremendous amount of researchers today that all of us in the field end up dealing with that have some paranormal problems that take place after getting involved with going out there and investigating.
So for someone who would be investigating or starting to investigate, do you think after an average of 2 years the average investigator may experience, let's say, an attachment, whether human or potentially inhuman?
No, I really find it hard to put a time limit. I mean, as far as people getting involved with it, some people can walk in, they're more prepared for being able to deal with something, even though they're new to the field. You could have someone that's been around 2, 3, 4 years and they could end up having an issue. It's not really something you could put a time restriction on, but here again, my recommendation to most people is to try to learn as much as you can before venturing out.
Okay, preparation. Personally, John, what is the thing that you have encountered with either a minor amateur ghost hunting or an adult investigator?
Well, that's something that Andy and I both can probably share. A very personal friend of ours, she was a paranormal investigator, and she got involved with doing some of the demonic cases and got herself into a situation where she had a serious attachment, and things escalated from there, and Andy and I had both helped her, and she actually ended up needing a couple of exorcisms, and it was a very difficult thing because it was a personal situation, and it was a very violent exorcism, and it actually destroyed her to a point where she wants nothing to do with the paranormal whatsoever anymore.
Do you encounter many investigators who have a complete questioning of their faith system after one of these attacks?
Oh, go ahead, Padre.
I would have to say, after dealing with the demonic, everybody questions their faith system because it totally rocks their reality to the very core. I mean, they don't know what to think anymore. They don't know what to believe. The biggest problem is getting them on the right path and keeping them there without going off on these wild tangents of what to believe in, what chakras they're dealing with, rocks, crystals. I mean, not that I'm against any of that now, but there are honestly some good people in that, but unfortunately they get so diluted in their background and faith system, they don't have anything that's effective to help them in these situations. Would you agree, John?
Absolutely. It's just a lot of trial and error, and you will find today, with paranormal investigators, I know I do, that once they experience something and they start to have things and they realize, oh, this ain't a big joke. There is something to this whole paranormal realm things. It makes them take a step back and think about things. And you'll hear that time and time again. People will say that to me, now I have to think about this because I really didn't believe in God. I didn't believe in any of this negative stuff. Now I have to look at it from a different perspective.
So would it be an assumption to say that the angelic and demonic world and the rules that they live by circumference our standard religious labels as of Christian, Catholic, Protestants, Baptist, Jewish?
What do you think on that one?
A lot of left field, I realize.
I really don't think, again, that falls into where people is kind of like asking, which one has more problems, what background, what faith system. There's really no delineation on who has more problems, like we talked about before, the Christians, Buddhists, whatever you want to deal with, paganistic, whatever, they come from all realms. I can't say there's any particular one that has more problems than the other. Again, a lot of the people are opening up these doors in their lives that's causing all these problems. So, you got Christians sitting in their basement doing Ouija boards. You got Christians doing seances. You got, people with paganistic backgrounds coming to us, with problems that they need help with. So I can't say there's any specific person or particular belief system that has more problems. It's across the board.
And what would your advice be to someone who is an atheist or someone who's living with no faith system?
As far as my advice to them, here again, it goes right back to anything. You always have to have a positive in your life. And no matter what you choose upon in any religious belief, as long as it's on a positive. Different people believe in different things, and, that's cool. I have no issues with that whatsoever. People question everything today, including religion. And we all deal with this, and we all know this is a fact on how people perceive things. That's why I always tell when people live a positive perspective, whether it's from a religious perspective or, any type of perspective, as long as it's on a positive, that always helps to reinforce things with people, I think.